All right, let's get back to the phone lines. We've got Cheryl on the line from Daphne. Hey there, Cheryl. What's your question tonight?
Yes,
hey, Cheryl.
Thank you for taking my call. I have a real estate question, and what this entails is that I have a property in a subdivision. I have 2 multi-story trees that are right on the property line between my home and a neighbor's. They're not maintaining the trees.
Right.
They're about 2 stories over my house. They're now at the point where they're dying at the top.
Right.
And I've got about a 20 or 40-foot branch that's about to come down.
Right.
The POA and myself reached out to them in writing and asked them if they would allow my crew to climb the trees. The tree service cannot get onto the trees any other way other than climbing at this point.
Right.
And they can't get a lift in there.
Right.
And they're refusing.
Wow. Well,
And
you're offering
yeah,
to have it addressed, even though
$1,500.
that's crazy. And I will tell you, Cheryl, Gino does a lot of this type of work. Gene Owens, he does a lot of this type of work with property and things like that. But Gene, what would you say in a situation like this where she's not asking the other neighbor or the neighbor to bear the cost? She's willing to bear the cost, and there's some trees that are going to fall. What can she do in a situation like this?
Well, she's put the neighbor on notice as well as the HOA, which is great. That's the first step, that your tree is dangerous, it's going to cause problems. And then that way, if you do have a catastrophe and it does cause property damage, then the neighbor's insurance carrier is going to have to pay for that. Now, in her situation, you've got the limbs that actually extend onto her property.
Right.
She has a right to cut those limbs down because she's put the neighbor on notice that they're a danger. It may cause property damage to her property. So those aspects of the limbs or the part of the tree that extends over her property line, she has the right to cut them.
And so, but if they don't want, would they be trespassing though if they go on to the other? It sounds like maybe there's an access question there where they might have to go onto the other property owners, to get to the tree. So would there be any kind of issue there?
And that's a problem.
Okay.
Yeah,
you can't go on the other property.
So only if they can access the limbs from her side,
right,
they can do the work.
Exactly. That's right.
And Gene brought up a good point as far as notice. And what exactly is notice? That is letting the other side, and this is in any situation, this is on a slip and fall, this is on, products liability. It happens in a lot of different, in different types of litigation. But in here, if you put the property owner on notice, say, hey, you've got a bad tree, and we think that thing's going to fall on us one day, and if it does, like Gene said, their insurance company is going to be liable. If you do not put them on notice, if you do not send them a letter or an email or whatever, and if you don't have any evidence of that, then they're going to say, hey, we didn't know. And then that lack of notice is probably going to negate your claim. So always, if you have a tree from a neighbor that you think might be a problem, let them know.